calling the Senate Committee on Education to order. This meeting, including the audio and video of remote participants, is being streamed live on YouTube. You will find links to viewing options for all Senate meetings on the live and on-demand video pages of the legislature's website. The Zoom meeting and YouTube live stream events will include the 3 o'clock agenda for this Committee on Education. In the unlikely event that we have to abruptly end this hearing due to major technical difficulties, the committee will reconvene to discuss any outstanding business on Monday, January 31st at 3 o'clock p.m., and a public notice will be posted on the legislature's website. I'd like to take this time to remind our testifiers that due to time restrictions on our hearings, we will be limiting testimony to 1 minute per testifier per bill. For people participating remotely, please remain muted and video disabled until shortly before it is your turn to testify. When I call your name, unmute yourself and your time will begin. After your minute is completed, staff will mute you so that we can move this hearing along in an orderly and efficient manner. Should you experience any technical difficulties when it is your turn to testify, we may have to move on to the next person due to time constraints. So your understanding is appreciated, and we would like to remind you that the committee has your written testimony. We apologize if the closed captioning does not accurately transcribe the audio broadcast. If you wish to review the written testimony submitted, please go to the legislature's website. You will find a link on the status page for the measure. And we have some senators joining us via video, virtual. And to begin our agenda, we have 3 issues on the agenda, and we will start with Senate Bill 2821 relating to mental, sorry. This is our first meeting, excuse me. Senate Bill 2821 relating to menstrual equity. It requires the Department of Education to provide menstrual products free of charge to all students on all public school campuses. Requires the State Public Charter School Commission to provide menstrual products free of charge to all students on all public charter school campuses. Makes appropriations. Let's see, for our list of testifiers, start with Superintendent Keith Hayashi.
Hi, good afternoon, Chair Kidani and Vice Chair Mercado Kim, members of the committee. I'm Heidi Armstrong from the Department of Education, testifying on behalf of Interim Superintendent Hayashi. The department stands on its written testimony supporting the intent of the bill, and we offer comments for your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Assistant Superintendent. Appreciate it. Next to testify, Yvonne Lau.
Good afternoon, Chair Kim, Vice Chair Mercado Kim, and members of the committee. Thank you so much for including the charter schools in these bills. We testify in support and stand on our written testimony along with our written comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Yvonne. Next to testify, Hawaii State Commission on the Status of Women, Executive Director Kara Jabola Parolas.
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, and honorable members. You have our testimony in strong support before you. Really, the only thing that I would add is thanking you personally, Chair, for your work over the past over a year to make sure that this is a priority. You know, folks who think that gender inequality is a relic of the past or mostly resolved can look no further than the neglect, stigma, and lack of investment around menstruation in the state. It was really heartbreaking to conduct the survey where we had 361 respondents across Hawaii with Ma'i movement, and compounding that with the findings of the fact that our girls and students are using, resorting to leaves, socks, newspapers to fill the gap when they don't have menstruation supplies. You know, we found very clearly that there is a tangible impact of a lack of period supplies on education. Education is being interrupted by the fact that we don't cover these supplies. And
Thank you, Kara. I'm sorry, your time has expired. Next to testify is the Executive Director of the Ma'i Movement Hawai'i, Nikki Ann Yee.
Aloha, Chair Kidani, Vice Chair Kim, and committee members. Mahalo for the opportunity to testify. My sisters and I strongly support SB 2821. We ran a statewide pilot in 6 schools. Here is the problem. We found that 8 out of 10 students had difficulties getting period products. As a result, they're missing class, leaving school early, or not coming at all. Students can get their periods as young as 8 or 9. That's potentially 10 years of consistent education loss. We are here as their voice today. Our pilot proves implementation can be done in a cost-effective and highly impactful way with improvements across education, health, and mental health. This is not just a bill built on lofty aspirations, but an issue that countries and states are tackling. You have the power to fix something that can potentially shift the trajectory of half the student population. These students are the future of Hawaii. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nikki. And I wanted to share with the public that it was Nikki and her support that helped, bring this to our attention and really support your efforts. And thank you for your help. And I'd like to ask Senator Vice Chair of the committee, Senator Kim, if she wanted to add anything, because last October or so, several of the women senators went to Tennessee for a conference that Vice Chair Kim presided over as president. She can tell you about the support of that committee.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, we have the National Foundation of Women Legislators have an annual conference, and one of our sponsors is Kimberly Clark, and they are leading the way in providing some of these products to some of the states. And certainly we are trying to get them to come to Hawaii and do that as well. But the National Foundation of Women Legislators also took this measure up at our conference. And so this is something that many of the states are adopting, and the women legislators across the country are taking a lead on this. So we're joining with the rest of the country. So thank you, Chair.
Thank you for that, Senator Kim. And again, thank you for Nikki and the Ma'i movement. Next to testify is a person, a teacher that I met, I guess it was last year or the year before, I can't remember. And she introduced me to a bunch of her students in her classroom. And she is at Ilima Intermediate School. She and her students will be testifying. Her name is Sarah Milanta Laughlin. We call her Millie. And her student is Rizel, who Nicole Escoto, who will also be testifying. Are you there, Millie?
Yes, we're here. Can you hear us?
Yes, we can.
Okay, my name is Sarah Milianta Laughlin. We're at Alima Intermediate, and I'm going to share my time with Rizel and the students today. We had a lot of students who wanted to talk to you about this 3-year journey on this issue, so I will let them take it away. Hello, my name is Rizel Nicole Escoto, and I'm Talia Hatwa, and we're 8th graders at Alima Intermediate. This is my 2nd year working at the menstrual equity legislation and the 3rd year for our school to work on the menstrual equity legislation to face period poverty in our schools. Kids have known this as a problem for a long time, but it's taken us a while to get adults to listen. I'd like to start off with a question. What do the following items have in common? Newspapers, diapers, leaves, folder paper, napkins, socks, toilet paper, and old rags. Do you know what they have in common? All of these items are things that students in Hawaii have potentially used as menstrual products when they don't have access to clean and safe period products. Take a moment to let that sink in. This is unacceptable because using anything that's not meant to go into or on the body during menstruation can make students sick. Students who menstruate are using these things because they don't have access to the period products that they need. At our school, we built a menstruation station 3 years ago after a student was bullied for bleeding onto their clothes during their period. Now any student can get the product that they need. Our teacher, Ms. Millie, used to buy the products with her own money. That's not expensive because if you didn't know, teachers in Hawaii are paid very little. Now we have great groups like Evolution 96706, Money Movement, and I Support the Girls Hawaii who keep these items stocked for us. But then we realized something. What about the schools that don't have menstruation stations? It hurts to think that kids in our own state, in our own neighborhoods, don't have what they need when they are menstruating. This week we met with.
Thank you, Millie, and thank you for sharing your students with us and teaching them, educating them on the legislative process. Very much appreciated, and for your help in bringing this to our attention also. Next, we have Michael Goloyu Jr. testifying for Stonewall Caucus of the Democratic Party of Hawaii. Michael.
Good afternoon, Senator. On behalf of the Stonewall Caucus of the Democratic Party of Hawaii, we stand in full support of this legislation, and we just want to use a little bit of our remaining time to thank Miss Millie and all of her amazing youth advocates that have been out there on the front lines of this issue, having to deal with it, having to educate their fellow students and teachers and administrators about this important issue. And we want to thank them for giving us such a bright light to showing the bright way to the future, that we have these wonderful advocates now at such a young age, that they will be amazing adults when they are able to vote. So on behalf of the Stonewall Caucus, we thank you for hearing this bill. We encourage every senator to support it as it moves forward. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Michael. Next to testify, we have Rachel Oy. Rachel?
Hi, Senator. They're not present.
Thank you. Next to testify, Osa Tui on behalf of HSTA.
Aloha. I'm Laverne Moore, speaking on behalf of Osa Tui, president of the HSTA. We strongly support this bill. We stand on our written testimony, and good work, Millie. Proud of you. As a special ed teacher at McKinley High School, I wanted to know that we teachers use our own personal money to supply our girls with this tampons and pads because we want them to attend school. HSD wants you to pass this bill to ensure access to these products regardless of financial situation. Mahalo for the opportunity to testify on behalf of our teachers. Aloha.
Mahalo, Laverne. Thank you so much. And next to testify, we have David Somulski.
This year, as a high school teacher in the DOE, I found out my transgender student had a horrendous incident of body dysmorphia when they didn't have menstruation products so their cycle started. Instead of having a simple and discreet place to grab the hygiene product required for this basic human need, they had explained their situation to multiple adults until they found who was covering the health room that day could actually give them a pad. I implore you to use empathy and imagine how devastating it would be for this already high-risk population to have to deconstruct their identity to multiple individuals and find quote-unquote female hygiene products. Last year, I taught third grade at a state-funded charter school. At recess, my 9-year-old student came up to me and told me her period started and she didn't have a pad. I brought her to the health room only to find they didn't have a single menstruation product available. I left my crying student in the room. They proceeded to run around door to door to ask all the female teachers if they had a spare pad. No one did. This is unacceptable. The Lahui that makes it the Teachers of Hawaii has a duty and obligation to our keiki and students' emotional and physical safety. And failing to provide ready and available menstruation products, we the state are failing under Kuleana to provide the necessary learning environment for our students. Mahalo.
Thank you, David, for that testimony and for caring. Next on the agenda, Bobby Jo Bayery.
Hi, Chair. Not present.
Thank you. Next to testify, Tiffany Edwards Hunt.
Also not present.
Thank you. Courtney Hamakawa.
Aloha, I'm Courtney Hamakawa, private citizen and Department of Education Homeless Concerns Liaison, and I wholeheartedly support this period product bill. Making $1 out of 50 cents is a popular line, but one that is just also true and real for many of our low-income and homeless families here on the Big Island, as most must choose between food, electricity, or water, but there is often little or nothing left for pads. Some children have been making makeshift pads in the school restrooms with toilet paper. Others who have the courage to ask for a pad are audaciously charged 50 cents after suffering the embarrassment for asking for one. Please support this bill to stop the shame and bring compassion to our needy girls and women in our community. I implore you to please support this bill to bring positive change to the lives of our young girls and women in our community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Steve. I'm sorry. Thank you very much, Courtney. Next to testify is Sarah Kern.
Aloha, Chair, Vice Chair, and honorable members. My name is Sarah Kern, and I'm a Hawai'i resident in strong support of this bill. I would like to use my time to take you through a quick empathy exercise. It's a little strange, but hopefully impactful. Please take a moment to imagine yourself at a meeting with colleagues in your office, and you are hit with a bout of uncontrollable diarrhea. Maybe you forgot to bring your own toilet paper today, or worse, you can't afford toilet paper at all. So you must make your way all the way across the Capitol building to the health room. When you get there, you notice a colleague in the room who hears you mumble to the nurse that you need some toilet paper. She charges you 25 cents, and embarrassed, you waddle as quickly as you can to the nearest bathroom. At this point, you can feel that your underwear is soiled, and you're just hoping it hasn't stained through your pants. I hope you all can make the connection that this is what many of our students who menstruate are experiencing. This is why some students stay home from school for a couple of days each month. This is unacceptable, and this session, you have the power to change it. Mahalo for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you, Sarah. Next to testify, Nikos Leverens.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, and members. My name is Nikos Leverens, testifying in my individual capacity. No young woman should have to bear the shame and humiliation of going without menstrual products. And the DOE determined that about half of its students came from economically disadvantaged households prior to the pandemic. So post-pandemic, we're not quite there yet. We're going to see those numbers increase. And who does this impact? Census income data indicate that Native Hawaiian, Filipinx, and Pacific Islander households fall below, other groups in terms of income. So thank you for considering this bill, and I strongly urge its passage. Mahalo.
Thank you so much, Nikos. Next to testify, Jamie Lee Kapana.
Aloha, Chair Kadani, Vice Chair Kim, and members of the Senate Education Committee. My name is Jamie Kapana. I am testifying in strong support of SB 2821 because I believe that students' first priority while in school should be learning and not making sure they have period products. Growing up, I lost my mom at a young age. This definitely made me ashamed to talk about my period because I didn't have anyone close around me to make me feel comfortable. I was also going through the foster care system and group homes for a year or two growing up. I remember how ashamed I felt if I needed to ask for period products while also going to school. It was a hard time for me to adjust, and it made it even harder during that time of the month. I know firsthand how hard it can be to deal with from a student's perspective. Because of this, I feel it's my responsibility to speak up and ask that you pass this bill to make period products free. Sorry, I'm trying to get on. Free for students. Many may feel that this is a topic only for girls and women, but that's not true. We need to be able to teach boys not to dismiss it because it's only a girl problem. Sorry, I'm getting cut off.
Thank you, Jamie. Next to testify, Ria.
Aloha. My name is Raya Abang, and I'm a senior at James Campbell High School. I am in strong support of Bill 2821, requesting the Department of Education to make menstrual products free on our Hawai'i public and charter schools. because after partnering with Ma'i movement and placing a Ma'i spot in my own school, I've had girls and menstruators alike come up to me, thanking me with such appreciation and gratitude, sharing their own testimonies, their own experiences of, having to leave school early, starting their cycles unexpectedly, forgetting their products at home, or maybe they don't even have the money to afford the products that are sold at our school. On instances like these, we have to use paper towels and toilet paper, which aren't made for menstruation. Knowing that there is money allotted for our school supplies and academic needs, I believe period products should be on that list. Thank you for the opportunity to testify in support of this bill.
Thank you, Raya. And the last testifier on our list is Kat Brady. Kat?
Aloha, Senator Kidani
Aloha.
and Senator Kim. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Community Alliance on Prisons testifies in strong support of this bill. It is so important. The testimony that came before was just staggering and so important. This is a public health problem, and I really hope that you pass this bill. We really need to teach boys and girls how important health is. Thank you so much, and I look forward to your passing this bill. Mahalo.
Thank you very much, Kat. Members, that is the last of our public testimony, but we have over 200 testimonies, written testimonies, all in support of this measure. And at this time, I wanted to take a short recess. Reconvening the Committee on Education, we have 5 members present, 2 are here and 3 are virtual. And we would like to do decision-making on Senate Bill 2821 now, rather than wait to the end of this meeting, only because the students of Ilima are probably still watching and would like to know how successful that they're going to be and all the hard efforts that they have done. So with that, Senate Bill 2821, the recommendation is to pass with amendments, and we're going to insert some preamble language to the bill. And also note that some of the language that was written by Nikki Anyi of the Ma'i movement will also be also found in Senator Ocasio's bill 2546 that we will be using in this bill. And noting in the committee report for consideration in the next committee, an appropriation of $1 million to support this bill. Well, with that, members, any questions? If not, Vice Chair for the vote.
The recommendation is to pass Senate Bill 2821 with amendments. Chair Kidani?
Chair votes aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Dela Cruz?
Aye.
Aye. Senator Kanuha?
Aye.
Senator Favela?
Aye.
Madam Chair, 5 ayes, the measure is adopted.
Thank you. And Sarah and your students, Nikki, all of you, thank you so much for your hard work. We have a bill. Okay, moving on to the next item on the agenda. Senate Bill 2819 relating to teacher compensation makes an appropriation to fund an experimental modernization project pursuant to section 78-3.5 Hawaii Revised Statutes to make necessary discretionary salary adjustments. First to testify, Superintendent Keith Hayashi.
Good afternoon, Chair Kidani, Vice Chair
afternoon.
Mercado Kim, and Senators. Keith Hayashi, Interim Superintendent. The department supports Senate Bill 2819. I strongly support our teachers and agree. I'm sorry. I strongly support our teachers and agree that they need to be appropriately compensated for the years they have dedicated to the department, our schools, and especially our students. The current distribution of teachers on the salary schedule is inconsistent and compressed, contributing to senior teachers leaving the profession. We must improve efforts to retain our teachers with years of experience and highly effective ratings to enable mentorship opportunities for newly hired teachers. This has the potential to transform a generation of educators in Hawaii's public schools into highly qualified and effective educators. The department is committed to working with HSTA to effectively address teacher compression issues to impact recruiting and retaining efforts positively. Thank you for this opportunity to testify. I am available to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent. Next to testify, Yvonne Lau for our State Public Charter School Commission.
Thank you, Chair Kidani, Vice Chair Mercado Kim, and members of the committee. I stand on my written testimony in strong support of this measure and also our written comments regarding the bill itself. Thank you very much from the Charter School Commission and on behalf of our public charter schools who also deserve to ensure that their teachers are compensated accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you. Next to testify for the Special Education Advisory Council is Martha Guinan and Ivy Sinclair. Ivy Sinclair, are they on? How about Susan Rocco?
Hi, Chair Kidani. We actually did not submit testimony on this bill. We submitted testimony on the next bill, 2820.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll wait till that. Okay. Next to testify, Osa Tui, President HSTA.
Aloha, Chair Kidani and members of the committee. On behalf of thousands of teachers, mahalo for taking up this important bill, which addresses whole swaths of teachers who have been denied longevity salary step increases over the years. After years of this problem not being addressed, many affected teachers have already or are beginning to qualify for retirement and see little reason to stick around. They love their students, but that's just not enough to make up for years of sacrifice. Every experienced teacher we can retain is one less that we need to recruit. Passing this legislation will also address those with as little as 2 years of service under their belt. Teachers are actually taking home less pay this and next school year, despite contractual verbiage that speaks to annual incremental step increases and that teachers not at the top would receive steps if they had an effective evaluation. We do have a couple of requested amendments that are in our written testimony. And once again, mahalo for recognizing that this is a problem that needs to be resolved, which will have direct and immediate benefits for Hawaii's keiki. Aloha.
Thank you, Osa. Next to testify is He'e Coalition Director Sherry Nakamura.
Aloha, Senator Kidani, Senator Mercado Kim, and members of the committee. He'e Coalition stands on its written testimony in support of this measure. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sherry. Next to testify, Julie Reyes Oda. Is Julie there? Julie?
Hi, I'm here, but mine was on 2820 also.
Okay, we'll hold you for then. Thank you, Julie. Sorry. Next to testify, Elizabeth Wiggins. Elizabeth Wiggins. Tiffany Edward Hunt. Recess. Calling to order the committee, reconvening the Committee on Education. Sorry for the mix-up, folks. We are taking testimony on Senate Bill 2819 relating to teacher compensation. I don't have the correct list with me, so if there is anyone on that wishes to give public testimony, can you make yourself known? I had Martha and I believe Sinclair or Susan Roca, but they are for another bill. And that was, and Sherry Nakamura was the last one that I had on here. Can you see the names? I can't see it from here. Is there Logan Okita?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, please proceed.
Thank you. Aloha, everyone. I'm Logan Okita, a National Board Certified teacher at Nimitz Elementary and Vice President of the Hawaii State Teachers Association. This is my 16th year as a teacher in Hawaii. I am in the middle of our salary schedule at Step 11, along with 2,568 of my colleagues, many of whom have more experience than I do. I have missed step increases a few times during my career and will hopefully reach the top of the salary schedule near my 25th year of teaching if we receive a step increase every other year going forward. Teachers who I admired as a high schooler 20 years ago still have more to give to Hawaii's keiki, but are ready to throw in the towel and retire because they can't imagine reaching the top of the salary schedule after all of these years. Please address our salary compression so that we can keep qualified educators in our schools. Mahalo.
Thank you, Logan. Next, we have Amanda Langston. Amanda?
Aloha. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Aloha, Chair Kidani, Vice Chair Kim, and committee members. My name is Amanda Fong Langston. I am the president of the Hawaii Public Charter School Network. The network supports the intent of SB 2819 with strong recommendations for change to include support all teachers with cost of living increase in alignment with the current inflation rate of 6.9%, and support all teachers with a step increase to the traditional collective bargaining process. Delete as negotiated between the State Public Charter School Commission and the exclusive representation of collective bargaining unit in a memorandum of understanding to address compensation. This section violates 302D under charter school law as the individual right of the governing boards to have the right to negotiate with the unions. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. Next, Aaron Kubo.
Yes. Aloha committee. My name is Aaron Kubo, and I'm an 8th grade social studies educator at Hilo Intermediate School. Recognizing years of experience and service is important to demonstrate the worth of qualified educators and keep them from retiring or quitting for other jobs. Having that recognition reflected in their salary with incremental step movements is one way to convince experienced educators to stay where we need them, in classrooms teaching our keiki. We need to pay educators better by decompressing the salary schedule and place them where they deserve to be, reflecting the years of experience. Second, you need to continue to move teachers consistently upwards on the salary scale. Otherwise, we will end up in the situation again with thousands of educators compressed and underpaid. Such a move will almost be enough to keep up with Hawaii's current inflation rates. If nothing is done, many educators are going to leave the profession either by retiring or because they can make more money for less work and stress elsewhere, and the students we serve will suffer as a result. Please vote in support of Senate Bill 2819. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Aaron. And the last testifier is Lisa Morrison.
Thank you. Aloha. I'm a teacher at Maui High School, and after 9 years at Maui Waina, actually the intermediate school, I moved up. So it's been a real joy to connect with students that I taught before. And it's reminded me how important the consistency of relationships between teachers and students are to their full educational development. There's a comfort and security for students when they return to the adults that they know and trust at school. I can't provide quantitative data on the value of this, but I can tell you that it's absolutely worth the money to pay teachers according to their years of service and expertise, because the reward is priceless and the payoff is lifelong. I had teachers I loved and learned a lot from when I was in 4th grade. And at the time, my mother was very active in at events at our school. And 20 years later, when she passed away, those same teachers sent me a lovely condolence card. What struck me is that they wrote it together because they were still there in the classroom making a difference for kids all those years later. Please support proper compensation for teachers so students can continue to enjoy this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lisa. That ends our the testimony, but we do have over, I think it's close to 150 written testimonies, all in support. So with that, members, let us go to the next bill, which is Senate Bill 2820, relating also to teacher compensation. Let's see. Sorry. Yeah, no, I hope this is the correct list. To testify, Superintendent Keith Hayashi.
Good afternoon, Chair Kidani, Vice Chair Mercado Kim, and Senators. Keith Hayashi, Interim Superintendent. The department supports Senate Bill 2820, which funds various teacher differentials. I strongly support efforts to recruit and retain qualified teachers for every classroom, as they are a critical component to ensuring student achievement. The areas of special education, hard-to-staff geographically located schools, and Hawaiian language immersion programs have typically been challenging to recruit and retain qualified teachers, while also containing large percentages of the department's most at-risk vulnerable students. Addressing the multitude of issues related to COVID, but simultaneously employing effective recruitment and retention strategies will require collaboration with HSTA and all interested stakeholders, including the legislature. The department is committed to working with its partners to identify and execute solutions that positively impact all students. Securing qualified teachers for every classroom is vital to achieving optimal student achievement. Thank you for this opportunity to testify.
Thank you, Superintendent. Next, Yvonne Lau.
Thank you, Chair Kidani, Vice Chair Kim, and members of the committee. We stand in strong support of SB 2820 and deeply appreciate this committee and the Senate's recognition that our public charter school teachers also deserve to be compensated accordingly. I stand on our written testimony in support. Thank you.
Thank you. And next, Martha Ginan and Ivory Sinclair, Special Education Advisory Council.
Chair Kidani, I'm Susan Rocco, and I am testifying on their behalf from the Special Education Advisory Council. Thank you so much for this bill, because SEAC is very much in support of pay differentials, particularly for special education teachers. Over the last 2 years, we've seen a tremendous increase in available qualified teachers in the classroom, and our kids who are performing at the lowest point of all the subgroups really need that consistent support from teachers that know what they're doing. So thank you for this.
Thank you, Susan. Next to testify, Osa Tui, President, HSTA.
Hello, Chair Kidani, Vice Chair Kim, and members of the committee. Thank you so much for taking up this important matter. Plainly put, shortage differentials work and have benefited our students tremendously. Recent data from the department has confirmed this with increases in recruitment and fewer vacancies to fill. Addressing special education, geographically hard to fill areas, and Hawaiian immersion takes care of some of our neediest and vulnerable populations of students who have time and again been neglected by the system through no fault of their own. Providing these shortage differentials acknowledges that these students are entitled to highly qualified educators just like their regular education peers, their peers in urban areas, and their peers in non-emergent settings. Doing the right thing takes investment, and passing this bill would be a worthy investment indeed. We do have one requested amendment that is contained within our written testimony. Mahalo.
Thank you, Osa. Next to testify, Sherry Nakamura, Director, He'e Coalition.
Aloha Chair Kidani, Vice Chair Mercado Kim, and members of the committee. Again, a coalition stands on its written testimony in support of SB 2820. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sherry. Next to testify, Julie Oda. Julie?
Hi. I'm Julie Reyes Oda. I come here today as a math teacher at Nanakuli High and Intermediate School. I'm a classroom teacher and I've always been my whole career. The bill listed issues plaguing the teaching profession and identified some, but not all of the issues that cause teacher vacancies. I support this bill. Is the SPED differential dollar amount left out for a reason? If not, can the bill be amended to include the amount? If the legislature believes that the state should offer shortage differentials for SPED, immersion, and hard to staff locations to address the high number of vacancies, why for only 1 year? Is it possible to amend this to a 5-year plan? Vacancies don't happen in a vacuum. We're not the only state to have this problem, but due to our isolation, we're different from the continental states. I hope that all of these education bills aren't coming up due to elections that are happening in November. Teacher compensation is an important topic that needs to happen as we talk about recruitment, retention, and morale. Taking on these issues is the right thing to do regardless of elections. Thank you for putting teacher compensation up for discussion.
Next to testify, Elizabeth Wiggins.
Hi, Chair. They're not present.
Next to testify, Tiffany Edwards Hunt.
Also not present.
Thank you. I believe that is all the testifiers that we have, but we do have 144 written testimonies. With that, short recess. Reconvening the Committee on Education. We are now on Senate Bill 2819, and the recommendation of the committee is to pass with amendments, and the amendments are to take the suggestions from HSTA and insert an amendment to remove the current classifications from statute and making future classifications subject to collective bargaining. We will also amend the charter school appropriation to require an MOU to be negotiated between each charter school governing board rather than the charter commission. Also noting in the committee report for consideration in the next committee, Ways and Means, and appropriation as noted in HSTA's testimony. Members, any questions? With that, chair votes aye.
Recommendation is to pass SB 2819 with amendments. Chair votes aye, Vice Chair votes aye. Senator De La Cruz.
Aye.
Senator Kanuha. Senator Kanuha. See you asleep. Senator Kanuha.
Aye. Aye.
Senator
hear me?
Favela.
Yes.
Aye.
Okay, 5 ayes, all members present. Recommendations adopted, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And for Senate Bill 2820, recommendation of the chair is also to pass this with amendments. The amendments would amend the charter school appropriation to require an MOU to be negotiated between each charter school governing board rather than the charter commission. Also noting in the committee report for consideration in the next committee, an appropriation as noted in testimony, and as some technical and non-substantive amendments also. Members, questions? And before we take the vote, I just wanted to note and thank Superintendent Hayashi for the discussion that he came to me with and having us take a look at this again and to take the suggestions from HSTA as well as the Charter Commission. So thank you, Superintendent. So members, 2820 pass with amendments. Chair votes aye.
Chair votes aye on Senate Bill 2820, pass with amendments. Is there any member present voting with reservations? Any member voting in opposition? Hearing none, all 5 members voting in the affirmative. Recommendations adopted.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Meeting is adjourned.